Welcome back to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Bally Bet, an official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Couldn't be happier now to have the greatest friend of the program walking on God's green earth, one and only our linebacker, Coach Jason Tarver. Coach, great to be with you.
Great to see you as always.
All right, 0-2, we know that. So we have not gotten the results we wanted. But the fact of the matter is, on your side of the football, Browns are the number one defense in the National Football League through 2 weeks, and that's after going against the reigning number one passing offense, the reigning number one rushing offense. And, in fact, you guys did something against the Ravens that's never been done while Derrick Henry's there. 36 yards combined for the two of them, Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. The week before, they had 239. How was your group helping this defense get that done?
Well, we got two things that we talk about all the time. You've heard it from Coach Schwartz. Is one, our job is to be the nerve center of the defense, to get the calls, get everybody lined up, keep everybody chill, and then when the ball's snapped, fit correctly. Against that last team, we needed to fit correctly. And then, obviously, you got to use your hands to get off of blocks and makes plays. So we did that. That's one, is being the nerve center. And two, is being the director of physicality. We need to finish in the pile. And going forward, we got to get even better. It should look like we have more than 11 defensive humans flying around making plays. So we're excited to see how that goes, and we're going to need it even more this week. Every week in the NFL, you play a great back who's good at breaking tackles. So we got to get as many of us there as we can and attack the ball when we do.
Yeah, well, we've had a tough – our schedule is uniquely challenging in that regard. As you get Derrick Henry, and you talked about earlier, was to get him early in his runs where he can get that downhill momentum. And now here comes another guy who's led the league in rushing, in Josh Jacobs. What makes him effective, and is he – what's kind of the differences between him and Derrick Henry, and how do you have to attack him?
Well, he does a great job of running his feet through contact and staying alive. He's got really good vision, so he can get into a hole and then slip back and forth and run his feet. So we have to be able to surround him and get his cleats out of the ground, because it sounds simple, but you can't run without your legs.
Yeah.
So we have to be able to get his legs out of the ground, and then when he's in the piles trying to push us, we got to get as many people as we can to the ball all the time. We got to finish in the pile, and I'm excited to see us do that as a defense.
How challenging is it in your room, especially when you're going against a team, where LaFleur is from kind of that Shanahan-Kubiak tree? So the goal is to full linebackers. It is to marry the run and pass, make runs look like passes, passes look like runs. The good news is we see a lot of that here, but how much of a challenge does that present? And a team also that, by the way, has a very good tight end who is explosive after the catch.
Yeah, the two young tight ends that they drafted the same year just keep getting better and better. So starting with that, but starting with the marriage of the run and the pass, these type of offenses, they want to stay balanced. Our job is to take one of the two away.
Yep.
So we got to get, like we just talked about, how to stop the run. And that comes from all of us, all 11 on the field, whatever 11's on the field. And then in the pass game, you got to keep the deep shots off you, because they marry the two. So for us as linebackers, it's about reading our keys, and it's about knowing where we are in the formation and where to look through. So we key the back and we feel the line, and we run that all our practice reps, and that's what we live, and we go one play at a time. So we've studied, obviously, their runs and their passes, and then now it's applying it to the best of our ability while going and dealing with their motions. What this system does is they run it's somewhere up there. I don't know the numbers on what it is in the league. Doesn't matter. They're going to motion almost every play and shift. And they're complex motions and shifts to try to get our eyes wrong or get us a little bit out of position, not just linebackers, everybody, right? And one thing that, of course, can help us with that is the dog pound. So this week, we need that noise against this team, because they're highly specific plays with shifts and motions, and it's harder to do when we're at home.
All right, so be loud. You heard that right there. Let's talk about the guys in your room who have really been sensational. Carson Schlesinger, we'll start with him as a rookie to be, the green dot and go head-to-head with Joe Burrow week 1, head-to-head with Lamar Jackson week 2, and now he's going to get Jordan Love up this week, Jared Goff next week. He's going to get Aaron Rodgers later on. It's a kind of a gauntlet to start your career, but so far he's really done a great job.
Staying in the moment, he's really good at that. You've heard that from me when I speak in the media or whatever. It's just next play is his best play, and he focuses like that. He can think about what's coming next. He asks really good questions, but it never as long as he stays in that mindset and just keeps finishing in the pile, and then when that play's gone, he thinks of information real quick, he puts it away. And that's the strength of a veteran that we're seeing in a young player, and it's really exciting to be around, not just for me, for the whole group.
When you get to go, and obviously I don't know how much of it you're watching or even if after the game if you do watch, but when you see a guy like Roquan Smith on the other side, and obviously that's what Carson aspires to be, and he had a pretty big game against us, the Defensive Player of the Week. Is that something where you say that's where you want to get? Because there were plays, clearly he knew what was coming and was able to diagnose it, but that comes with, I think, so much experience, right?
Roquan's a great player. I think as you go, each individual that we have wants to be the best version of himself. And so, yeah, you look at those things, but, comparing numbers, sometimes the numbers come just from your hustle.
Yep.
And sometimes the numbers come because the ball was thrown in front of you a little bit more based off the scheme. So tackle numbers are going to vary, but it's about what you do when you get around the ball. It's attacking the ball and getting the ball out, and when there's a chance to get it, getting it. And that's what makes the difference. So as you look at that production, yeah, we want to be there, and that's where we all want to go, but we don't compare. We worry about ourselves.
Absolutely. And one guy who was really, he's doing it all for you is Devin Bush. This is a former first-round pick. This is former Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. I remember you and I talked last year that, this was a new scheme for him. Well, now it's year 2, and you could tell the guy is just flat out playing fast. He's everywhere. He's in the backfield making plays. He's hitting the quarterback, sacking the quarterback. He's getting his hands on the ball in passing lanes. Probably wants to have an interception, and maybe that's going to come very soon. Led the team in tackles. He looks like a first-round pick again out there.
Very proud of Devin for the reasons that you just said. The second year in the system, he continues to get better week in and week out, and giving himself to us in the system. What I mean by that is he hasn't been played in this system till he got here.
Yep.
You can be a little wider. You can do some things to use his speed, and then really trust in the techniques. We talk a lot about what the quarterbacks are looking at and how to set up and how to break in our vision zones, and then we have some other things we do different, but Devin's really taken to that. You can really see him trusting it, and you see the explosiveness, and he's done a great job getting his body ready too. So Devin's doing really well, and Devin, you got to keep doing this. Okay, Devin, working with everybody else, helping make the calls. He's been great in the middle of Carson. Maybe is in the middle a little more, and he's on an edge, helping Grant and the corners and everybody talk to everybody on his side with quick little signals and noticing different splits. He's been great at picking up the little things because now he knows the system better. So keep doing that, Devin. We need it.
Well, it's got to be helpful, too. He's been a Mike his whole life as well. And so you basically get to have 2 Mikes out there, which is a great thing.
Yeah, we've been real fortunate. And what happens when you get, for Devin, he got to play last year all the linebacker positions.
Yep.
So now if he gets into one of them, he's seen it before. And so it is like having those Mikes. So is Mahmoud. And Bake's learning it. Bake's getting all the position going too. Jerome. So we'd like to get to where we have positionless linebackers, and we're on our way there.
Yeah, well, we play. Listen, we're in 2 linebackers a lot of the times, but you mentioned Jerome Baker. He's gotten out there. Mahmoud Diabate as well. Diabate coming back off that injury that cost him a lot of training camp in the offseason. How are those 2 guys kind of mixing in with your 2, what I would call at this point, your 2 horses in Carson and Dev?
Well, you play certain teams, and there's more. Sometimes you use more base for us, so that's 3 linebackers, as we know, but there was a lot of extra linebackers in the last game, and those 2 in their snaps performed really well. We don't say 100%, we say 99.9. So they were 99.9 in their snaps. Jerome had 17 and Mahmoud had 9. There was a certain play that the first team ran that we knew the second team would do something like that, and it was in Mahmoud's area, and he covered it perfectly. It was just awesome because it's what we practiced came to fruition. There are no perfect calls. There's only
was that
perfect
near the goal
execution.
line?
It was near the goal line. Yes, sir.
I noticed that. That was noted on the broadcast.
It was really good. I figured it might be.
That was noted on the broadcast. Yes,
so those corrections and being able to week in and week out know how you were attacked, and even though people are going to change the formations, there's a lot of times they're going to try to do the same thing or attack the same player. And so it's our job, especially when you're coming off the bench. It's like a relief pitcher that comes in, specialty, here comes a lefty to face a lefty or whatever it is. Like, you got to be ready in those situations for whatever's happened to you in your rules.
Yep.
And those 2 were last week, and we need that to continue, and we expect it will.
Really, I think kind of the only area for this defense to keep improving on what we've seen over the first 2 weeks, because, I mean, you guys had a 4-quarter stretch against the Bengals and the Ravens where you gave up 88 yards. I mean, that's kind of hard to believe. It was 7 yards in the second half against the Bengals,
right.
81 yards in the first half against the Baltimore Ravens. That's shocking. It feels like somebody's playing Madden against somebody who never played Madden before, or college football in case of Jordan back there when we were at the Greenbrier.
I haven't
but
played
that's
in a while,
neither
but I
here
would
nor
blitz a
there.
lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Takeaways, right? That's the next step. This defense is doing everything else, harassing the quarterbacks, getting off the field, takeaways. I know you stress it. It's one of those things, maybe that's how the ball bounces. How do we get the football away from our opponents?
Well, it's like we talked a little bit about the running back in this week. When you're the second, third, fourth, fifth man to get near the ball, you got to be thinking attack the ball. That's one. Because there's different ways, right? You said it correctly. It's takeaways. We got to take the thing away.
Yep.
So you can take it away by hitting somebody so hard that the ball falls out. But you got to have techniques as you get around it. Yes, the punch, everybody calls it peanut punch. We say the same thing, the punch. The front tip rip or the rake, when you can get the front tip of because they're taught eagle claw and ball security right there, right?
Yep.
Okay. You got to get the front tip and rip it apart. When you're coming from behind, underneath punch, the hammer top down. And we give them names on purpose, and we say, why'd you use what it was? Now, we practice it all the time, but like we said, in a game, we got to keep attacking the ball in the pile. Cam had a good one. The back kind of got through, and then he finished with the punch, got the ball out. We just need more and more and more of those. The more they run it, the more chances we get to take the ball away. So some of that is, you just gave the yard numbers. I didn't know all that. We're off the field so quick that there's less plays.
Sure.
But if as it goes through a season and there's more, and we want to get off the field as fast as we can. The 3 and out's a takeaway too.
Absolutely.
So if we're off the field, we don't get as many chances. If we do start getting more chances, we just got to make sure we're finishing. When the ball's in the air, we have to affect the quarterback so that he doesn't stay in rhythm, so that it goes higher or lower or around, and that's how you get the other kind, the interceptions. So what we got to say is, no matter how many you get, it's got to be any chance you get to attack the ball, we got to attack the ball.
Yep.
I finish every text to the linebackers in our text chain with ATB with a football pitcher. Every single one of them.
Attack
and
the ball.
We got to make that our lives.
ATB. I like
ATB.
that. Coach, you're the absolute best. Good luck on Sunday. Always love spending time with you, and let's go get those Packers.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Go Browns.